All right.
hipster
Welcome. What were you saying over there, Paul?
We got our hipster drinks.
That's right. So, holy moly. The two of yous in one spot. Nashville.
Together
forever. This is Jeff McErlain, Corey Congilio. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
We're you guys are freaking cutting loose. You've been melting some picks over there. What's going down?
Friendly competition, my friends.
That's right. A little friendly, little auctioneering going down. Okay, so
I'm a southerner now, so
That's
I was
right.
being a gentleman.
it's like subdued fighting words.
Well, that's how you do it here. It's Southern hospitality.
I see how it's go- I see
with
how
some
we're rolling today.
daggers.
See how we're rolling.
Rip his face off here in a little bit. Okay, so we're jamming a little mixo, kind of jam bandy. Get your hippie scarf and your freaking Grateful Dead.
I don't mind that.
Okay. What's approach? Give me a little backstory. Oh wait, actually, click all their links below. I'll leave Corey's and I'm like out of the screen here. Look over there. Mm-hmm. Down. I'll put their links down below. But anyways, yes. Go ahead. Wait, no, just kidding.
I don't know. First of all, if you're thinking I was major pentatonic and Mixolydian.
Okay.
I don't even remember what I played.
Yeah. Instagram.
It's okay.
Hold on. Yeah.
Isn't it? That's Ooh, that's nice.
Play something good.
So it's something.
Loser.
Dude, I thought
No
we were,
That's a
pressure.
reverse compliment.
Dude, I
It's
thought
so-
we were
no,
friends,
it's so
man.
good.
so,
Just trying to give you a little New York flavor.
I'll kill you.
Okay.
I don't know. Well, it's
Major, obviously,
Yeah,
right?
major, but it's mixo.
Mix a major?
Mixo every kind of note that you can put in
Yeah.
there, and
You're doing
I'm
Mixolydian.
thinking, A7 for the large part,
Yeah. Okay, so that's killer phrasing though. So
Yeah.
you got to slow that stuff down.
Okay,
Give
well,
us some ideas. Like we gotta,
sure.
We need to
Well,
walk with something.
The first thing, I'm thinking definitely pentatonic,
Okay. Okay, slow down, dude. Whoa.
To set it up, something in major pentatonic with a lot of natural sixes. Or
Oh.
minor pentatonic with natural sixes.
Natural sixes.
We often call this like mixing major and minor pentatonic.
Okay.
Corey and I are good friends off camera.
Yes.
And
That's right.
Words out.
I kind of see it honestly as like a Mixolydian scale with a flatted third added.
Okay.
If we're talking
Do tell.
about
Show us,
inside
give us-
without not talking too much chromatic yet.
Give us
Right.
a practical example.
So, if I think about a Mixolydian scale, so it's A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A, right?
Okay. Yeah.
But it's that natural third, that C sharp. I hit sometimes, but it sounds cool that
Oh yeah.
that kind of mess in between the two. So I can think of.
Do that.
So
real
the
slow.
first thing is emitting C to C sharp, right? So going up to say E, which is part of the chord. Oh, here's a cool exercise. So if you're thinking pentatonic, let's talk about simplify it even more.
All right.
Minor pentatonic, right? A minor finger number one. What I'm gonna do is play every time I go to the C, I'm gonna play C, C sharp.
Which already makes it way cooler.
Right, but I'm not gonna go because he doesn't sound as cool.
Yeah.
So if you play A7. So all I just did was C, C sharp.
Okay.
Yeah. Right? So you hear that kind of sound
Yeah.
as opposed to going,
Yeah. Right.
and so. So you can take a big old blues lick, like say but
Yeah.
and you have a built-in little chromaticism. So I like this, right? So you have the D, C, C sharp. So by just adding in that one note, and that's sort of the sound I'm going for, is that kind of mixture of major and minor.
Yeah.
Then as you add in your blue note, right from the blues scale, I'd have.
Yeah.
And that's like a line right there. in
Yeah,
itself,
totally.
like,
Well, and it's repeating, right? It's the same lick.
it's the
you're just
same
doing
lick,
multiple
yeah.
octaves.
But if you look at it as a scale,
Yeah.
and then your fingers can start, there's other notes you could add in, which would be the F sharp, so like major pentatonic.
Yep.
Look at that. And the B.
Now,
So-
do you kind of tweak that the note right
All
here?
of them. Yeah. The big one that I love is that 6 to the flat 7, as
Okay.
opposed to hitting like, which is
Yep.
cool. And the normal bend that we do would be
Yep.
nothing wrong with that,
Yep.
but
That's cool. Do that.
Yeah, so- okay. So cool. Like I got this. This is like Angus Young and Peter Green and Clapton, everybody. So that flat 7, the 6 to the flat 7 bend. Then
Oh.
so,
Yeah.
So you get sort of the sweeter sound of the 6, but you get the more aggressive thing of the flat third to the major third.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
you're kind of mixing it up because the flat 7 to me, I mean, it's cool, but it's
It
kind of
convinces you as the listener what it should be, though, whereas you have control over
Yeah.
whether you're going to enforce that or not.
yeah, exactly.
You know?
So it leaves it a little bit ambiguous in that
Yeah.
sense of, and the flat 7 to me is a little more defining, like you're saying. Really hear that Mixolydian
Yeah.
sound. But if you just mess with it, you can hear it, and this lick, like that's a chord. Like keep that kind of open.
Yeah.
Which is just a great sound. Like I got it, like Angus Young. He does, that-
Yeah.
in
Back in Black.
Back in Black.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then I started hearing a lot of other people do, like Peter Green and all that.
Yeah.
So in Clapton,
Right.
and then of course Schenker, who we've talked about.
Yeah,
What's that?
Oh, Michael.
Looking at that lick that he's so
Yeah.
kind of.
That's good stuff.
But it's all-
You haven't even moved out of one spot yet.
No, right, and it's all
Working it.
it's all really about the phrasing.
Yeah.
too. You know what I mean? You can play the notes, but so it's kind of thinking that like we had that groove right.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, and you can do like a little short phrase like that to really kind of pull it together. And when quarter is different, like there's that kind of the thing that carries us through, like this kind of rhythmic,
Yeah.
and you're shooting for that end note.
Yeah.
But I'm really always thinking, I'm imagining,
Yeah.
and we both do. We've talked about this, and I think
Yeah.
good players do it, especially if you're not playing with a ton of gain. You can really get those accents. Like, so I'm not going,
Right.
but
Yeah.
playing some notes a little louder than
Yeah, like
others.
dynamic.
Yeah, dynamically, because it's just
Makes
like
them pop.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
like we're speaking too. Yeah.
Otherwise, it's like. Blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah.
But and it's easy enough to practice. You got that like that kind of going on, Right, so it's going.
Yeah.
Just little phrases, right? So you just have it under your fingers,
Yeah. Nice. Okay. So what about the freaking blazing pick melt
Oh,
craziness?
a lot of the same stuff. I mean, sometimes it's just pentatonic whittlies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but are you 3-note per string? 2-note per string? Like,
Well,
what's your?
I mean,
yeah, like that kind of stuff.
that's kind of that to me. That's kind of the fast.
Yeah. What's the pattern?
I don't know.
Fast licks are hard to play slow. That's
They
for
are.
sure.
So
They are.
I'll just take this one. That's something based upon
Yeah,
this
yeah.
because I can't remember. They're things
Yeah.
that you kind of practice, but
Yeah.
right. So
Okay, but
It's a
you're
better
back. You're
word.
back to the economy picking.
yeah,
Yeah.
I do economy pick it, and it is that kind of funny thing when the fast licks. I've never spent a lot of time. I practiced ideas fast,
Yeah.
but I haven't sometimes practiced actual licks fast, like
Sure.
particular kind of.
Yeah.
Except for something that I had to play in a song or something I
Yeah.
really totally wanted to nail.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'll just practice patterns and then kind of what comes out comes out. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
So that sounds kind of cheap to give it, but that one just even slow. I'll bring it down in octaves. Just does that. So
Yeah. Okay. Now, if you're gonna do that,
yeah.
what like, how do you get out? Do you just hit a note and then stop, and then like that's the phrase is over, and then, or do you kind of do both?
Well, a target and end thing,
Yeah.
I want to make. Usually those, if I do it successfully, ends at a downbeat.
Yeah.
Some ba.
Yeah.
And that's where. But if you kind of get that little beat too long, if
Yeah.
you overshoot it, then it kind of loses the effect.
Yeah.
So I do practice listening to the metronome, but
Yeah.
then I'm thinking it 3, 4. I'm just shooting that, right? You know what I mean? Those phrases, right? Right?
Oh, that was cool. That was awesome. What was that?
Oh, this is. Oh,
Okay,
just that.
do
Okay,
you-
so yeah,
yeah, exactly.
so yeah.
That's a coffee infused pattern.
That's okay.
Okay.
Gotta play it fast.
Yep,
Here,
yep.
So it's.
Okay. All right.
Ah. Okay, so I see what I'm doing. Then I started
Nice.
over here with that. On
Yeah.
the first finger, it's a pep. Then you're moving down one note on the pentatonic. So here's the phrase. Right? That's the first part. Then
Okay.
I start over again
Uh-huh.
by bringing it down
Yeah.
one string. The starting note is
Yeah, yeah.
always one string lower.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's
Then-
awesome.
Hammer on,
good
pull
stuff,
off. I'm
right?
not. I'm not picking that too because
Yeah.
that's just faster than like. But I like the sound of that. It's kind of waterfall. Like
Yeah.
it's like water.
Yeah.
Flowing over.
Yeah, it's a flow.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
But but the trick is to lock it in, right?
Totally.
So I'll practice that just so you know. Right. And then how about say? You know what starts to happen, and this is something I've, having other interests outside of guitar. I teach a lot, as do you, and I kind of think about ways to get better at things faster.
Yeah.
And one thing I've read some studies on, like violinists or even basketball players, you imagine playing it when you're not on your instrument.
Mm-hmm.
That's really
Absolutely.
cool. And then also, I'll just focus, I'll just kind of look at my hands and just kind of like meditate on, or,
Yeah.
how's that feel?
Feel
and
it.
slow.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Fine. But and so I find that's really helpful to me,
Yeah.
and because I don't have the patience like I did when I was younger,
Or the time.
or the time,
Yeah.
or having had some injuries in the
Yeah.
past. You know what I mean? To practice technique.
Yeah.
So I try to keep it. I try to isolate ideas now
Yeah.
that I find that I'll be using in a performance.
Well, something applicable.
So, yeah, something
Yeah,
applicable. Yeah.
yeah.
So patterns I find to be really good, and sometimes licks, like I said, if there's something that's taking me into a different realm, or
Okay.
something that I've done before, But yeah,
Okay, so chord change. I mean, they do happen. So
they
you
do
gotta pay
happen. So
attention to 'em.
what we both did, which is
Yeah.
cool, that we had just basically A.
Yeah.
I was playing straight. I didn't superimpose anything. It's A7.
Yeah.
Some A major pentatonic, A minor pentatonic. Six.
That's all in your courses.
It's all my courses. It's all my courses. Yes.
Down below.
Down below.
Okay.
And then we went to the D to G, right?
Uh-huh.
So at that point, you could still just stick in
Yeah.
what I did if you want, especially for like the ripping, if you want to
Yeah.
get the rock and roll ripping,
Uh-huh.
But what I would do on a D,
Ooh.
into the G.
Okay,
you
slow
know?
down. Hold
All right,
on.
so I just outlined my D chord.
Ooh,
Right,
nice.
so I just play basically a D major triad
Yeah.
or something like
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? But I'm getting in the idea of the D major triad.
Yeah.
And then it's a D sharp, D, F sharp, A, and I have A, D, F sharp, A, D.
Nice.
Right?
Check you out.
Then comes the G chord. And just kind of went down a G major triad. And all this is contained in the same scale we're talking about. So I can do.
Oh, do that. That was
So what
really
I did was, I don't know if I did it in the thing, but
cool. Something similar.
right, I can go up the D chord, right? Then go to the G. Right, then you kind of bring it back to the A. So
What's
I hit
the
that
kind of
C to
pattern?
C sharp. So I went down the G major triad. So I have D, 10, 7, A, or G note
Yeah.
there in 8th fret, D, and so if I go back up,
Yeah.
so I hit the C. Remember the flat third, natural third thing we're talking
Yeah.
about? So back into like an A Mixolydian
Yep.
sound. I may be able to do a little better with it. That kind of idea. Sorry, yeah, from the G to the A. So I just
Take it with you again.
Yeah, the G.
3,
Yeah.
4.
Oh, you do D. That kind of idea. For better or for worse. But I'm just targeting the chord tones.
Do it one more time.
Okay, so up to D,
Okay.
then to the G, kind of a.
Okay.
Then I can go up to the A maybe. Then
Oh, nice.
so back up the G, then the C, the flat third to natural
Yep.
3.
Yeah, because you're back into the A right there.
Yeah, and then you can play it really simply, like.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? The.
Yep. Here, I'll do it. So we'll take it the D to G.
G.
2, 3, 4.
About a tune.
Freaking Tedeschi trucks and like the whole Allman Brothers band.
Yeah,
right there.
and it just sounds cool when you grab that kind of stuff because too much of one thing becomes annoying, and you have chord changes. And it's not
Yeah.
they're not that hard to get.
Yeah.
Thinking about your shapes the way to start off is.
Well, plus you're vamping so much on the A kind of part of everything that's your rock and roll right
Right.
there. Yeah. Sweet. So any other niblets of wisdom? Practice?
Practice. Yeah. And then I always try to think in the moment. Always just trying to create something
Yeah.
like interaction with Corey and you.
Yeah.
And just trying to create something cool.
Yeah.
I don't consider myself a lick player. Like I don't think that way. I'll practice things that I'll have in my pocket, to back pocket. And I can't say I
Yeah.
don't have licks, but I try to
More melody.
try to keep things organic as I can.
Yeah.
When I'm playing. Some days it works better than others. That's why you want to have some stuff in your pocket.
Well, licks are cool
but-
for like the flash. Like
Yeah,
you've
sure.
been doing a bunch of melody, and then it's like a nice little punch in the face.
Yeah, of course. Right. Sure.
So the great, the one, the only, Mr. Congilio. Break it down. What's your approach? A part first.
The A part. Well, first of all, I want to say that I'm going to back up virtually everything Jeff said.
Okay.
Because
That's nice.
he has a hit out on me.
Okay.
basically. It's like if you don't agree with me.
I know the
like
feeling.
People from New York.
Yeah, right.
No, seriously. He nailed it, and I would put other little funny catchphrases attached to it. For one, I always say, "It's all chromatic,"
Yeah.
or "It's only a half step away."
Yeah, right.
Those are some of the things
Yeah.
that because the same points, the major to minor third idea, or minor third to major third, and all these other sort of sweeter pentatonic notes. All that stuff is exactly
Yeah.
what I would do. But I think what's funny is I don't necessarily think that Clapton or Peter Green or any of those guys knew. They just put their hands there because they heard somebody else doing
Yeah,
it
sure,
too. And I think it's a really cool thing that we've evolved in a way that we can break that down and say, oh, this is actually what's happening.
Sure.
And that can, some people will say, nah, man, I just feel it. It's
Yeah.
like, let me tell you what, if I have a toolbox full of tools and I
Yeah.
know how to use them all,
Yeah.
I'm going to build something much
feel them all.
cooler. Yeah, I'm going to feel all my tools.
Put your hands on all them tools. All right, so
Yeah.
and the chromatic point too. People, this is cool, but like if you're going fast enough, like all that. I mean, it like what you're
It's
saying.
all there, yeah.
As long as you're not landing on it. Yeah.
It's kind of the stuff that I play because to me, from here, if I'm trying to get to the 1 to the 9, let me.
Yeah. Very good handling of you.
Oh,
Check
was
that out.
cool.
Which you're probably just thinking is A7.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and
me too,
it's just this little
all the
puddle
notes in
jumps.
between. Yeah.
Right, from 1 to, and all the notes
We'll break
in
it down.
between.
So A7, puddle jump. Let's hear it.
So if I'll put A7, but I'll put major third and flat 5.
Okay.
So like 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. Okay. Hold up. For all the folks get like, what
and I'm
the
just
hell's
kind of
going on?
having fun. I wouldn't normally do that.
Totally.
It's just kind of to prove a point.
But you want to
that-
practice that.
What's the outline though?
So-
give them the place to start so they can see. Okay, here's the notes that are really part of the chord, and then how you're manipulating it.
My outline is always. This is how I learned. I learned pentatonic, add the flat 5, which will folks call the blues scale.
Yep.
To me, I just looked at it as my first guitar instructor put all the dots on the lines
Yeah.
and made the scale, and then he put an X
Yeah.
where the blue note was.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. And I did what Jeff said, try to find that.
Yeah. Oh, the
No,
places, yeah.
And then find major thirds as well. But we can get into that. But the flat 5, that's a place I like to live a lot because
Yeah.
then it's there coming down from pattern 2.
Yeah. A lot of people don't use it in that position 5 one too. That.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love to do kind of.
Sure. Yeah, that's great.
Do slow that. That's cool.
So I'm going to hold that A note down and create this little double stop descending idea. You could even. You want to.
Check that out.
But then when you're here, you get that flat third against the 1 there. But then you're only a half step away from the
Pulling it
major
back.
third.
Yep.
And
That's cool. Wait,
I get a
so
lot of
that-
questions about that kind of stuff. It's all chromatic.
Yeah. Well, and it's like you were saying too, it's that feel, hearing that. As long as you hear that groove in your head and you resolve.
Yeah, so here's a way that a lot of my students, I've been throwing this at them a lot. I think I learned it from a Lee Ritenour Starlicks video years ago, where it was
Captain Fingers.
Captain Fingers. You have to. Guitar players generally don't have a strong understanding of subdivisions.
Yeah.
So if you play that groove for me, I'm just going to play sort of A minor pentatonic, and I'm going to show you what I've been teaching them.
Okay.
Whole notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Half notes. Quarter notes. Eighth note. 16th. Now, the 16th note is kind of the overwhelming sort of thing that happens. Generally, it's the highest number in which a lot of modern contemporary music is subdivided.
Yeah.
Up to that point, you'll kind of the most natural feel, in my opinion.
Sure.
Da, 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 da. So that kind of can lay the groundwork for maybe your peak. And then you can go, obviously, 30-second notes and variations of triplets and stuff in there too. But so having a healthy understanding of how I can use those to create my rhythms and my melodies is really helpful, which a lot of people overlook.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't notice it or wouldn't notice it unless somebody pointed out. I think there's a little bit of swung feel to a lot of the guys that feel really good. There's it's not straight 16s.
Yeah.
There's a little swagger in
And
there,
you can do it like a straight 16 would be like. Let me turn that delay off because that would be crazy. Or
yeah, and it's when you were talking about dynamics, you really hear the swagger when you start when every note is at the same value.
Exactly.
And
that's a good point.
I think a lot of people, they think about 16th and and it starts to sound super mechanical, and it's like it's weird. RJ had a really good video on it where when he was playing over something straight, he added a little swing, and then when he played over something swung, he made it a little bit more straight, and it made everything sit.
You hear bebop players do that all the time. Ting, 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 ting. And they're like, bat, da, 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 and they'll play triplets over, they'll play straight quarter eighth notes or something over top of a swung feel.
And it sounds really cool.
It's really fun.
And it sits in a really cool way. But I think a lot of people are like, why doesn't mine sound like that? And it's because a lot of the really good players, they just have a little, like Eddie, you hear him all the time. There's always a little bit of a
He swings as hard as
swing going
anybody
on there.
ever.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. That was his thing, is how
Bag.
he took that into there.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's one of my favorite things. But one of the other things, when you were teaching that sort of fast lick, now I'll approach it differently. I'll use hybrid picking, and I'll talk about how I do it, but then I'll talk about sort of my thought process and how I want to dispel something. I'm always up to do it. So I will ride the coattails.
Okay.
Of Jeff McErlain.
As usual.
of the great.
Oh, there it is.
Jeff the Great.
Lay it in wait.
Yeah, like a snake in the grass. So the thing, going back off of that rhythm concept that we're talking about, you know, there's no 5-note scale. There's no 6-note scale.
Yeah.
You know, there's no Eric Johnson scale or Joe.
Mm-hmm.
It's when a player does. It's rhythmic phrasing.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
So I you know, get at me on the comments if you want and troll me if you want. But this is the way I see it. It's like 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and it just depends on, I think what people think is like where the downbeat or the accent falls or the one falls is where they kind of get, you know, they think like,
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just following a similar pattern. And a lot of people ask me about the hybrid picking thing, and I didn't stop at the nail salon today. So my nails are a bit short.
They're not pink like they normally are. But
Don't go
diamond
stealing
studs.
my color.
That's all right. That's all right.
So I might start here on the, if I'm just playing a pentatonic scale, and I'll play those first 4 notes. So maybe people think that's 5 notes. I guess 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know. To me, it's 1E and a 2E and a 3.
That's it.
So it's just a process. I think I learned it in the back of a guitar magazine from like Joe Satriani.
Yeah.
Like going,
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just basically, yeah.
you know, and that's, so I attack it with my right hand.
So anytime you come back to a higher string, you plug. Yeah.
And I might take a piece of that and might go,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but for me, the only way I could really get it to pocket was to use the right hand.
Yeah.
You know, when I saw Brent Mason years ago do like a, I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
what's going on there?
Yeah.
And he's using a thumb pick, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, like many other country type players, I adapted it to just a flat pick.
Yeah.
But I don't have near the amount of speed to flat pick. I'm just not that guy.
Yeah.
But it works for me.
It's hard.
And it's a way to get me to really kind of,
Yep. Well, and another super cool thing about it is you get the pop out of it. So
Exactly.
you can mute, but then it still has like a attack.
so I get an extra level
Yeah.
of dynamics
Exactly.
happening in
Yeah.
there too. So that's kind of my thing. It's like when you really want to create some phrases,
Yeah.
really consider the rhythmic quality. But
Sure.
another thing is you have to do that if you don't have a singer.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a singer, there's no harm in kind of bouncing off of what the listener has been hearing over verses and choruses.
Yep.
You know, I was just in a session yesterday and had to play a solo, you know, in G, and it was like that might have been the chorus. So now my solo might be like,
Yeah. Yep.
you know, so that's my melody automatically. And then I can kind of play, you know,
Yeah. Right.
and that's my driving engine. You know? I know Tim Pierce talks about nursery rhymes all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
Well, and if you think about it, like the Green Day,
Yeah.
you can hear a song one time, and you can hear his melody line, right? And so, or Bryan Adams, or anything, or the guy that plays with Bryan Adams too. Such simple phrasing, but it's perfect for the song.
Totally.
You know, so develop it like nursery rhyme first, and then if you're obsessed with playing fast, then start to add that stuff. And
Yeah, but-
after your melodies are really good, you know?
Well, it's a motivic development and rhythmic development. So
Yeah.
you set up the rhythmic device, and you can take it through the scale
Yep.
and make it a melodic device based upon the rhythmic feel, which is really cool, and it glues it all together. And it's a great thing to practice. Just, you know what I mean? Like just practicing that technique.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, then you come up with really cool ideas, and
You
then
do.
you're that guy as opposed to, you know?
Yeah, right.
Listen to or look at, just pull a score up of a famous
Yeah.
melody.
Yeah.
It's visually appealing. You look at the scale or the melody on the transcription,
Yeah.
and it'll kind of
Yeah,
cascade.
it's like a
you know?
wave,
It is
yeah.
a wave, you know, and it makes sense, and
Yeah.
it might go way down but way up, and
Yeah.
there's a journey that's happening there.
Like the band?
But yeah,
Don't stop believing.
Don't stop believing in your phrasing. All right, so chord change. So what would you play over the A? So like just for jamming, because we're riffing.
Yeah,
right
just
on
just
there?
give me an A. So I might okay, before we get into that, when there is another guitar player like Jeff was saying, it's helpful. My brain says, okay, what is he playing? I'm going to play the opposite. I'm going to play the opposite.
Yeah.
It could be anything from region on the guitar
Yep.
to pedal to pickup selector.
Yep.
You know, I was even playing some of that, rotary stuff
Yeah, yeah.
just to have a different
Keyboard.
texture and movement and
Yeah.
keyboard type of sound. It was cool,
Yeah.
and it had, especially when you go to that 4-chord
sure.
change that we
Yep.
went to, it elevated it. So I always try to think, what is missing?
Yeah.
What's not happening? So if Jeff's kind of going, so I'm gonna go the opposite. I'm gonna go.
Right. Exactly.
And, yeah.
Chord, the one thing that you do, and all the players we really like, and I think, and I know I do, is you don't want to start on a downbeat too. So
Yeah.
you did that like that cool, and
Yeah.
so it's much cooler than starting on that downbeat.
Yeah.
So you insist you drop the first 8th note or 16th note.
Totally.
And then it makes it so much cooler. It's
Yeah.
like it brings you in.
Or you can wait too. You can let it go by a little bit too.
Yeah, sure, but it's just not starting on 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
Starting on an and or an E.
Gives it
depending.
way more bounce.
Yeah. Totally.
Absolutely. Like, you'll get laughed at by jazz improvisers if you play on the downbeat.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
first thing.
right.
My first jazz improvising lesson, they were saying, "Okay, we're going to teach you to not play on that." I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay."
Yeah, exactly.
And then a lot of times, you'll find, they'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3,
Yeah.
and it's as simple as that. But it creates that little level of space there.
That's the
Yeah.
Well, I was at Tim's when we were filming one time and the power went out. And so he like said, and he's like, let's do a lesson. And that's the first thing he said. Like, he's like, play on the and. He said,
Yeah.
don't play on any of the downbeats and wait
Right.
for me to play and then come in on ands. And I was like, what? And you play the same thing, but it feels completely
Yeah, I mean,
different.
You could play like just a big A, like power chord. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Much cooler than going.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, here I am.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it makes you stick out too.
I mean, what else are we doing this for?
Right, exactly.
Pay attention to me.
So chord change. Like if we go D, G,
Right. So
what's your
now
thinking?
over that, I'm gonna think of the chords, but I'll probably do it in my own sort of amalgamation of rock, country,
Yeah.
folky blues stuff, where I might play. It's a G to D. So I might go
E to G.
The
oh,
other
D
way.
to G.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Okay. So I'll try to outline the chords, but in maybe a way that has got some open strings or some sixths or thirds or
All
something.
right, so
play the
give us some
D,
options. Here's D. Okay.
G.
Okay. Right, so on the A, you kind of come back
I
to.
went right pentatonic
Yeah.
because what that did was it took me out of that sort of major
Yeah.
third. I'm hearing major thirds and
Yeah.
sixths.
Yeah.
Major thirds and sixths. Now I want to get aggressive.
Floating down to the ground. Yeah, exactly.
What's funny is you and I did some similar things. Like it's almost because like that's what you do on this.
Yeah,
Like
totally.
and it's not even as cliche. It's just right.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you can go if you can do whatever you want, but that
It keeps it too. It grounds it. Because
Yeah.
if not, it gets too like woo.
and it makes
floaty.
it, I don't say familiar in the sense of boring or cliche, but sometimes right is just right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Well,
I don't get
people
too
are used to hearing it too,
yeah.
so it's like,
I don't get too
that's cool.
worried about like, I should be doing something completely different.
Yeah.
Like, it just sounds good, so that's what I'm gonna play.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so is it like an arpeggio thing?
So yeah, I'll probably think arpeggio, but a lot of times when the thing is, those chords are going by so fast.
Yep.
Yeah.
That you're only, even if you're a half step away again from the right note,
Yeah.
it's okay. You
Yeah.
know, and like you said, you could pretty much get away with playing a minor pentatonic through the whole thing,
Yeah.
and you'll pass.
Okay,
You know, you just might not get an A plus.
Yeah.
You might have an A minus.
Yeah.
Who am I to grade? But in any case, so if you let's play the whole thing, and we'll go to the D and then the G. So 2, 3, 4. So I might play little ideas like stuff like that, or
Yeah.
those are fun things because since they are going by so quickly,
Yeah.
I want to just be able to play small pieces of the chords,
Yeah.
and maybe not play.
Yeah. Totally.
So I can just play thirds, and I can play susses.
Yeah.
Because those notes are still going to sort of pass. You know, I'm going to have a G against an A, but it still works.
Cool dissonance too.
Yeah, exactly. And then I might play.
Yeah. I'll go D to G.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4.
And speaking of Van Halen, I mean,
Yeah.
he was a sus master. I mean, like, that's what he could play 2 notes and have this huge sound.
Yeah.
You know, and it creates this wonderful, can be dissonance, can be tension.
Sussmaster, I like that.
Sus master.
It's a Sussmaster General. Dog.
Corey's new pedal.
That's right.
Sussmaster.
It's got a built-in Fernandez sustainer in
Yes.
the pedal.
Oh, dude. Now you're going Sean territory, right? All right, so hit me. Where are you at? What's your stuff? Jeff?
Oh, yeah, what?
Yeah, well, you can hit me too.
He said
It'd be
hit
fun.
JeffMcErlain.com.
All right.
Check me out there.
And albums, courses.
Yeah, you know.
All one-stop shop?
All one-stop shop right there. Yep.
Okay.
And Amazon, all that kind of stuff. Buy
Amazon?
Amazon, iTunes,
Really?
Spotify.
What's on Amazon?
Amazon Music.
Oh, your records.
So my
right.
records on Amazon Music. And please buy the record. Please buy our records. It's a way for us to continue
That's right.
to do all this.
Yeah.
If you like
That's how
our
I buy
record-
LaCroix's when they come over.
I know. It's
All
great.
right, and you?
CoreyCongilio.com.
It's getting an
The
upgrade,
whole
huh?
shoot. Oh yeah, got
Pictures.
new photos. I mean, like, you remember that thing in Seinfeld where like George Costanza's on the couch?
Oh, yeah.
It's just like that.
Just
like-
like that. Exactly. Yeah. I got the tidy whitey pedal from JHS. I'm thinking about maybe
Oh,
doing
nice.
a photo shoot that follows
Yeah,
suit.
exactly. Oh, good for you.
Yeah,
Like a
you know.
Calvin Tidy.
You never know. You know,
With
trying
just
to
the pedal
expand.
right there?
Well, size, isn't everything.
Right.
I
Well, you
guess,
have to get a longer pedal.
Yeah.
Or shorter.
But there'll be some more action with you and I coming
well,
up.
yeah.
Your faithful followers need to pay attention.
That's right. Coming soon.
Coming
Catch you
soon.
live. Thank you so much for watching. Both of you, thank you for
Thanks for
coming
having
by.
me. Yeah.
All right. Catch you next time.
See you later.